When did you decide enough was enough? I was 32 and still living like I was in college. Eating cereal for dinner, wearing the same jeans 3 days in a row, and calling my mom every time my car made a weird noise. My apartment looked like a tornado hit it, and I couldn't remember the last time I'd balanced my checkbook. My wake-up call came on a Tuesday morning when I tried to buy coffee with my credit card, and it got declined. The barista looked at me with pity while the line behind me grew longer. I mumbled something about the machine being broken and walked out empty-handed. I checked my bank account on my phone while sitting in my car. Negative $47. Again. This was the third time this month, and I was getting overdraft fees that made everything worse. I was making decent money as a graphic designer, pulling in about $4,000 a month after taxes. But somehow, I was always broke, always stressed about money, always one emergency away from financial disaster. That night, I sat on my couch eating ramen noodles and scrolling through Instagram. All my friends were posting pictures of their new houses, vacation trips to Europe, and fancy dinners at restaurants I couldn't afford. Meanwhile, I was 29 years old with nothing to show for it except a closet full of clothes I barely wore. I opened my laptop and logged into my bank account. Time to face the truth. I spent the next 3 hours going through 6 months of statements, and the numbers were absolutely embarrassing. $200 at Target for stuff I didn't need and barely used. $50 on coffee drinks every single week, $37 for a throw pillow I used once before shoving it in a closet, $85 on takeout because I was too lazy to cook actual food. The worst part was finding a recurring charge for a gym membership I hadn't used in 8 months. $29 automatically coming out every month for a treadmill I touched maybe 5 times since signing up. I added it all up on a piece of paper, checking my math 3 times. I was spending over $1,500 a month on complete nonsense. Random purchases, impulse buys, subscriptions I'd forgotten about. No wonder I couldn't afford anything important. That's when I made a decision that changed everything. I was going to live like I only made minimum wage for 1 full year. Every dollar over that amount would go straight into a savings account I couldn't touch. I calculated that minimum wage in my state was about $1,300 a month after taxes. So that's exactly what I'd allow myself to spend on everything. Rent, food, gas, everything. The remaining $2,700 would get saved. The first month was absolutely brutal. I meal prepped every Sunday, cooking huge batches of rice, beans, and whatever vegetables were on sale. I bought generic brands at the grocery store and used coupons like my grandmother used to do. I canceled Netflix, Spotify, and that gym membership I never used. Started walking to work instead of driving when the weather was nice. Made coffee at home in an old pot instead of buying it from the fancy place downtown. I wore clothes I already owned instead of shopping for new ones. When my jeans got a hole in the knee, I patched it instead of throwing them away. When my shoes started looking worn, I cleaned and polished them instead of buying new ones. My friends thought I'd completely lost my mind. They'd invite me out to expensive restaurants, and I'd suggest meeting at the park for a picnic instead. When they wanted to go shopping at the mall, I'd stay home and reorganize my closet, rediscovering clothes I'd forgotten I owned. But something amazing started happening. By month 3, I had saved over $4,000. Real money sitting in my savings account. Money I'd never had before in my entire adult life. By month 6, I had enough to finally fix my car's air conditioning that had been broken for 2 years. By month 9, I could afford to visit my sister across the country without borrowing money or putting the trip on credit cards. The biggest test came in month 10 when my laptop died completely. The old me would have panicked and put a new one on credit, probably buying something way more expensive than I needed. Instead, I calmly went to my savings account and bought a decent replacement with cash. A year later, I had saved over $18,000. $18,000 actual dollars sitting in my account. I'd never seen that much money before. It felt like winning the lottery, except I'd earned every penny. But the real change wasn't the money. It was realizing I didn't need most of the stuff I'd been buying. Those expensive coffee drinks didn't actually make me happier. The random Target purchases just cluttered my apartment and stressed me out. Now I'm 34 and own my own condo. I have an emergency fund that actually covers real emergencies. When my friends ask how I transformed my finances, I tell them the truth. I decided to grow up and act like money mattered. Best decision I ever made.